morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. How y'all doing? It's Kaiser. And so we've got an update to the Alec Baldwin Rust shooting that occurred a while back. So, as we may or may not know at this point, let me just kind of get you up to speed here. So, originally, there was a lot of questions on if Alec Baldwin was going to even face any kind of criminal charges for this because there were originally criminal charges put forward. Those were then apparently, you know, dismissed, and then now suddenly we're getting those charges or new charges coming forward again, and actually those are apparently going to be going to trial. That Alec Baldwin himself is going to be going to trial in July, but ahead of that, the armorer for the Rust movie, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, as of today, was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter in the Alec Baldwin shooting. So, for those who may or may not know, she was the one who was in charge of making sure that there was not live ammunition on the set and that live bullets didn't end up in the gun that was being used for the rehearsal, in which Alec Baldwin drew his pistol and accidentally shot and killed cinematographer Halyna Hutchins and director Joel Souza. So that is where things currently stand with the trial. She has been remanded to prison at the time. So that is where we're standing here. And so we'll just read through this quick article here. So Alec Baldwin's trial date for involuntary manslaughter has been set for July 10th of this year. On October 21st, 2021, after filming a Western movie Rust, Alec Baldwin shot cinematographer Halyna Hutchins during a rehearsal. Baldwin claims the revolver that he had been given from the AD suddenly fired when he pulled back the hammer, emphatically stating he did not pull the trigger. Subsequent analysis of the firearm by the FBI later concluded that the trigger had to be pulled and or pressed sufficiently to release the fully cocked or retracted hammer of the evidence revolver. So yeah, they pretty well have all the testing that they did on this gun. They pretty well that they were pretty much able to determine that this thing did not go off accidentally. The circumstances under which it could go off, they literally had to beat it with a hammer, and they broke the gun trying to get it to misfire. So that's a bit of an issue going toward Baldwin's case. But what we really want to know here is really, what does this mean for Alec Baldwin? And ultimately, this trial right here for Hannah Gutierrez Reed was really a dry run, kind of a more or less if you want to call it anything, kind of a rehearsal for how things are going to go, the things that they're going to push forward in that trial. So let's go ahead and go over here to the article over on Variety and just read what they have to say. So Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the armorer of the ill-fated Western film Rust, was convicted on Wednesday of involuntary manslaughter in the death of the film's cinematographer. Jurors returned a verdict after less than 3 hours of deliberations on Wednesday afternoon, following 2 weeks of testimony about safety lapses on set. Gutierrez Reed was acquitted of a separate charge of tampering with evidence. She faces up to 18 months in prison at sentencing, which is expected sometime in April. Alec Baldwin is set to face his own manslaughter trial in July. The first assistant director, David Halls, took a plea deal last year to a misdemeanor count of negligent handling of a firearm and served 6 months of unsupervised probation. So, yeah, that's kind of something that they need to notice there, that while it was ultimately Hannah's job to make sure that the live ammunition was not anywhere near the guns that were going to be used on set, made sure that the live ammunition did not end up in the guns being taken to set. It was also the job of assistant director David Halls to make sure that thing that she had supposedly already checked and loaded, should have been his job to check the loading and make sure that the dummy rounds were what was in the gun, and then handed it off to Baldwin. Baldwin should have then checked the gun, made sure of all the same exact things. But yeah, multiple people handled this thing before the ill-fated shot that killed the cinematographer and director, but ultimately none of them actually followed up on their duty as they should have. Baldwin's also been pretty documented in this case that he skipped safety briefings. He pretty much, didn't really care about any of the gun, training or anything like that. And there was so much cut rate, just financial fuckery going around on the set that really it's not surprising that there was something going wrong on this set. Gutierrez reloaded a live bullet into Baldwin's pistol, which should have contained only dummy rounds. The gun fired, killing Halyna Hutchins and seriously wounding director Joel Souza. Gutierrez Reed got the job largely because her father, Thel Reed, is a legendary film armorer who worked on Tombstone, 3:10 to Yuma, and LA Confidential, among many others. Yeah, Thel Reed is kind of the GOAT. He is the guy. He is the armorer when you need an armorer in Hollywood, that's the guy you call. Thel Reed was in the courtroom when the verdict was read, though his name was on the defense witness list. He was not called to testify. Stacy Reed, the defendant's mother, was also there and was in tears when they led her daughter away. Yeah, that sucks. As a parent, I mean, I feel you. I mean, yeah, your kid did have something to do with somebody who died, but I get it. I mean, just from a parental standpoint. To convict the involuntary manslaughter charge, jurors had to agree that Gutierrez Reed acted with, quote, willful disregard for the safety of others and that the death was foreseeable consequences of her actions. Yep, that is ultimately what the negligence, qualifier is on there, is that she was not aware of her actions. Yeah, it's a whole situation. So what does this mean for Alec Baldwin going ahead of this trial? I think this is probably a sign of where things are going to go. I think, honestly, based on some of the legal analysis that I've heard from some of the lawyers and whatnot that I know, that I hang around with, and I have listened to, they're all probably thinking that he's probably watching this unfold and is like, his lawyers are probably telling him, hey, you need to take the plea deal and just say, hey, I'll if I get no jail time, I'll take whatever probation you guys want. Just, make this go away, kind of deal. We'll see what happens in that regard, and I'll keep you guys appraised of what's going on as much as I possibly can. But for now, thank you definitely so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.